1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome back to Country and Cold Cans. I'm Logan, sitting here with Andy, and we have a couple of special guests today. We have Mike and Garrett from the Hippies and Cowboys Podcast. Appreciate you guys taking the time to come on there.
Dude, thanks for having us. I'm excited for this. I really am.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. This is actually kind of the first time we've been on the other side of the table, I guess. Right. Or the other
Not
side of the Zoom call, if you will. Not the table, but the virtual table.
The virtual table, exactly. Everything's 2020, everything's virtual. I mean, I saw, like, I've been following you guys for a while, and I discovered your podcast like a few months ago, listened to it some, and I was like, you know what? Like, I want to reach out to these guys, get them on, because we're pretty like-minded for the most part, and you know, I typically have interviewed like artists, right? But I think it'd be kind of cool to interview people that are doing something similar to what Andy and I started a year and a half ago too. Get a little bit of cross promotion in there too. I mean, it can't hurt.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun doing stuff like that. Like, we've had a few guests in that sense. Like, we had Grady Smith on, which was a lot of fun, and somebody who we've actually kind of connected with quite a bit since then. Kind of a bit of a friendship there since then, even a bit of a mentorship, if you will. And then like people like WB Walker, who's like the fucking country music podcasting legend. That was a lot of fun. He's a great guy too. Ones like that, like just ones that guests that aren't artists are always kind of a fun little like change of pace, you know, instead of sitting there and ask, you know, talking to the same kind of people. I've been
like I said, y'all are the first guests we've had. They're not artists, but I've got another one in the pipeline that we were going to sit down because she's based in Raleigh, but she's which is where I live, Raleigh, North Carolina. But she and I were talking about doing an interview soon, but then COVID hit. Everybody was, you know, scared to go around everybody. So it's before the Zoom thing. It just kind of got tabled for a while. But she's the digital editor for No Depression magazine. Okay. So she lives around here. So that's gonna be a cool interview coming up sometime in the near future once we can get scheduled out there. But so like I said, you guys, y'all, the Hippies and Cowboys podcast. Can't talk right now.
It's all right.
Just kind of like, I guess both of you explain like how that came about, and because I mean, you know, like, wait, Garrett, you're in Canada. And Mike, you're in Iowa.
Yes, sir.
So, like, how? I guess the question is, how the hell did that come about?
Do you want to take it? Do you want me to take it? I can take it.
I can. You can. Whatever you think.
I'll take it. I think you took it the last time.
I always take it. So go ahead.
All right. So, I started, I guess, a kind of country music account a couple years ago on Twitter, and I didn't take it seriously. It was like a bashing pop country kind of thing, which is, you know, my handle was like end pop country. It was like that kind of thing. And then after a little bit, I realized I could do more good, like sharing the good artists, the real artists out there, versus bashing. And then that's kind of where my account had grown. And then Garrett had a very similar thing going on.
I didn't start mine I didn't start mine till long after you started yours. You were on there well before I was, but mine probably started like a year ago in May, I think. So I guess about a year and a half now.
So I probably had like a 2-year jump on you or something like that. But I guess we had kind of buddied up a little bit on there, and one of our mutual followers was reaching out to us about old poor Rambler. He was reaching out to us about doing something together, and he threw around the podcast idea. And Garrett is well versed in podcasts. I was not, but I said, "Fuck it, let's do it." Can we cuss on this show? By the way, Okay.
I always tell I only have one rule, one word that's banned on this show, and that's GD. Other than that, fair game, man.
All right. Yeah. Fuck yeah. So I said, "Fuck it, let's do it." And we started out, and essentially, you know, we knew Garrett's in Alberta, I'm in Iowa, and that's like, I don't know, a 20-hour drive. So all of our episodes are going to be virtual. So we figured out a system of recording our own audios and syncing them up. And then with guests, we did the same thing. And then it actually worked out decent for us when COVID hit, and all of a sudden in-person interviews aren't a thing anymore. We kind of already had that system down, so that was a little silver lining to COVID.
Yeah, we didn't really have to shift gears as far as that goes, and honestly, we were used to that. We were used to doing the interviews, and I hate calling them interviews. First of all, I like calling them conversations, like podcasts. It's a podcast. It's entirely different than an interview, in my opinion. But
for sure,
we were already kind of used to doing shit like that, and so it was a little more comfortable for us to like just then when we started, because kind of right around when COVID hit was we started to get some bigger artists than we had been getting, and some more attention on social media and things like that. And so that, I don't know, I feel like we had a little bit of like you said, a little bit of an advantage there because we were already used to doing that kind of thing instead of having to completely change the way we do things. But having said that, it's going to be kind of fucking culture shock when we actually have to do an in-person podcast because we haven't done any of those. Yeah, which is coming up pretty soon. So
where y'all plan on doing that, in Iowa or Canada?
Neither.
Fucking plot twist. Neither. Lexington. Is that allowed to say? Is that allowed to say?
Well, yeah. That's fine. It'll be in Kentucky. We have some stuff planned down there here.
Hell yeah, man.
Shortly. Well, that's all I'll say. We won't tell when, but shortly.
Yeah. I hear that. Yeah, dude. Because like I said, I followed you guys for a while, and I enjoy your material and everything. And look, your logo is badass. Like those hats y'all have. And
Thank you.
That's sick.
Thank you. Yeah. So
I'm assuming the name came from the Cody Jinks song.
Yeah.
In part. Yeah.
In part.
I mean, that's the obvious one. That kind of, that was where it started. And then like kind of the more I got looking into it, and like, I know that, Willie Nelson's kind of been referring to his fans as hippies and cowboys for a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It seemed super fitting. First of all, yes, because of the Jinx song. And then like, the more we talked about it and the more I kind of looked into the slogan, if you will, hippies and cowboys, it kind of made more and more sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something for me. Like I don't even know if I would say I'm more hippie or more cowboy. Like I'm kind of right in the middle. And kind of when you cover Americana music or even red dirt music, a lot of the artists are the exact same way, of like cowboys. right along the line of hippie and cowboy. And that's kind of what we cover. So it works out in a lot of facets, but
works out.
It definitely stemmed off of that Cody Jinks song.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would definitely say of our broadcast team here, Andy is definitely more cowboy than me. Obviously growing up in rural North Carolina, you're going to be at baseline country, but I'm definitely a lot more along the lines of the coastal kind of type of people, more so than most of the people in the red dirt scene.
I don't think anybody would call us hippies.
No, not at all.
You're not calling either one of us hippies.
No, I've been called
it.
I had a girl call me a hippie one time, and I was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "I'm probably the most not hippie person that you could ever meet."
You roll up to a place and rolled up jeans and camo Crocs and long hair and glasses this. People will call you a hippie. More times than not.
Yeah.
So have you guys actually met in person yet, or
no?
You're supposed to.
We were supposed to. We were supposed to go to a festival in what was that, Whitefish, Montana this summer.
Under the
Big Sky Festival, which I mean the lineup was and is fucking killer for 2021. They got back literally every artist that they were supposed to get back, and they added like Ryan Bingham and they added a kickoff show, which is like Ryan Bingham and Billy Strings, I think. Don't quote me on that. It's two fucking like headliners that are doing like the opening night. So that'll be cool. But that was supposed to happen, then COVID kind of
screwed up everything for everybody.
Screwed that around. So
we know how that goes.
Now we got this thing kind of cooking up here in the next month or so, and we'll get down there and see a couple shows, actually, do a couple podcasts, hopefully shoot some videos with a couple artists. It's going to be fun.
Yeah,
lots of stuff.
Man. I tell you, I miss concerts. I do, because like,
yeah, dude,
there hasn't been much going on in North Carolina as opposed to like Florida and Texas. Things are still pretty shut down here. Not as much as it is in other states, but it's still pretty shut down here when it comes to like music and everything, which is unfortunate. But
have you guys been to any like social distance shows? Have you guys been to any of those?
We don't really have any playing here right now. Like none of the artists are playing anywhere. And I did go to one, but I have a hard time calling it a concert because it was in my hometown, and there was like, it was at like a little distillery that's in Weldon, North Carolina. Right. And there was a guy from Greenville. He was on The Voice actually, but Mikkel Buck. He's a Greenville, North Carolina artist. He's a pretty good artist. So if you guys hadn't heard of him, check out the best song to probably, I would say, he has is one called "In Came You." It's definitely worth checking out. His stuff probably leans a little bit more towards like a late '90s, early 2000s country kind of sound. But I mean, he's still solid stuff, you know.
What was the name on that?
Mikkel Buck, Mikele, and then Buck.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's good stuff. We've got some pretty good North Carolina artists like here, like Corey Hunt, Tyler Hatley, Mikkel Buck, like all these guys are kind of like the North Carolina independent scene. Raleig's
a huge scene, especially bluegrass. Yeah. Like you got, I mean, Town Mountain.
Sure.
I think Sarah Shook's from Raleigh, isn't she?
Sarah Shook.
And BJ Barham,
obviously BJ Barham,
he's the big name.
Yeah, you guys.
We had a North Carolina episode early on.
Oh, did you?
Actually.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Was that the one with Town Mountain?
No, nope. Actually, we had. So I'm a big wrestling fan, being from Iowa.
Yeah.
So NC State had a wrestler I always grew up watching, Nick Wisdowski, and he's a big Red Dirt Americana guy. Yeah. And we had him on. He's good buds with BJ Barham and so we had him on just to chat music. And,
I'm a Wolfpack grad, so I'm semi familiar with him. One of my good buddies is a big NC State wrestling fan, so. He loves to talk about Pack wrestling, but anytime anybody wants to talk about Pack athletics, I'm always on board. So, but I guess like kind of transition into music a little bit. I kind of want to like get an idea of who are y'all's favorite artists like that you like.
Oh boy.
You know, I know it's always a tough question. Like you gotta
changes daily.
Yeah. So like, who are the artists I guess that you've been listening to recently that you kind of want to talk about a little bit?
I'll let Garrett start.
You're gonna let me start? Put me on the spot. Oh my god.
Okay, well, if you're on the spot, I'll rattle off a couple. Sure. I guess.
Yeah.
I've recently. I know I can speak for Garrett on this one. Red Barn just released a studio video with Cole Chaney. He's a Kentucky guy, and it's really really good. So we've been digging into that guy a little bit. But I mean, me personally, just like in a broader scheme, I mean, I think I can still call Turnpike my favorite band. I think they're the best country band of our generation.
100%.
And I'm going to stick by that for a while. But, I mean, I feel like I don't even need to say like the Turnpikes, the Childers, the Sturgills, Coulter Wall. Like that kind of comes for granted. But I guess recently, like the ones I've really been digging into, Moon Pies have been a pretty steady kick for me, Mike and the Moon Pies, for a little bit. They did that new album they had of the tribute album of Gary Stewart. I actually played that. I was coaching cross country earlier, and I played that in the weight room today. Kids had mixed feelings, but that's okay. I liked it, so that's what matters.
I mean, you can't hold them to too high of a standard. When I go back and look at the music I was listening to at 16 years old, it was ridiculous. So a lot of Luke Bryan and Jason Aldean at the time.
Yeah, there's probably some of that for me too.
Yeah, I have feelings. I have theories on that because that type of shit music is literally targeted. The target audience is 16-year-olds at bush parties, dude.
For sure. For
sure. You know what I mean? Like like shit like Jason Aldean's album, I think it was My Kind of Party or whatever. Like you didn't go to a party when you were in grade 10. I don't know how old you guys are, but when I was in like grade 10, grade 11 kind of thing, you didn't go to a party and you aren't without listening to like probably half that fucking album. Yeah. Like somebody's playing it out of the back of their truck. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like
somebody's playing
I'm 26, so like I definitely was in that era. That was when when
we're
was real big.
Same. Yeah, I'm also 26, so we got that same exact. Yeah, I think I was like freshman or sophomore in high school when that came out. And
and even you listen to the pop shit today, like that's who they're talking to, man. It's
100%, man.
Disgusting.
Like, it's terrible. I will say, like, since we're out of the mainstream, there are some guys in the mainstream that I like. Like, and
for sure.
I go to bat for them with some of my independent music friends, just because, like, there is this idea that, you know, because it's mainstream, it's bad. But so I push back sometimes on that because, like, I really do like John Party. I can't help but like Luke Combs. And Luke Combs is just easily digestible working man music. It's nothing too heavy and deep, but it's like it's enjoyable. But like John Party, I think Party is like fantastic, especially when you put the caveat of him being a mainstream artist.
Yeah, no, I like John Party quite a bit actually. I would say like for mainstream artists, for me, like, I mean, obviously, I like, because there's artists that I like, and then there's artists that I like genuinely like have in my playlist that I listen to on a
for sure
not a consistent basis, but like I'm not gonna like skip them or be like, Miranda Lambert's got good stuff.
Yeah.
Eric Church.
Oh yeah.
Obviously.
North Carolina boy.
John Party. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Good call. Yeah, John Party. I would say those are.
Yeah,
Midland. I do like Midland. I'm a fan of Midland actually.
I know they catch a lot of hell because of the supposed like inauthenticity people, but look, if it's good music, it's good music.
Yeah.
You know?
It is what it is. It's like I said, it's or like I've said before on our podcast. It's I think they do. You know, you can be mad about air quotes inauthenticity or whatever it may be, but at the end of the day, they make good music. So I'm not going to be. I'm going to be pretty happy to walk into a bar or something or the fucking grocery store and hear on the radio Midland rather than some other dipshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know Andy's very partial to the, what is it, Andy? 14 Gears.
I like
that's a good song. That's a really good song. That's one of their newer ones.
Yeah, they're good. That last album was pretty good, man. Like I got to say that last album,
not bad at all.
I really like Cheating songs a lot, actually.
Yeah, I do too. I like that too.
No, Cheating songs. Yeah.
But,
I don't know. Can I argue with you? Can I argue with you a little bit? Like, is that fine to just like pick fights on things?
100%.
I think that's fun. Like to, like we can sit here, we can agree. We can agree on like Tyler Childers and Turnpike. But so you mentioned Luke Combs, and I know that's something that I can disagree with, not wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
But a little bit, and I think it's exciting to like disagree a little bit.
Oh, 100%. Makes for a more interesting listen. So.
Oh yeah, I think so. I sure think so. So, and you kind of said it with the only reason I'm not totally sold on Luke Combs is you said it. There's not the substance, or it's an easy intake. I think is how you described it, and it's exactly what it is. However, he absolutely has like the country sound. You know, like it's nothing like groundbreaking, new, original, like as far as sound goes, but it's a country sound, and nobody can really argue with that.
Yeah,
cookie cutter country.
And
there it is.
Andy's a lot more harder on the mainstream guys than I am, so we kind of have that dichotomy between me and him.
Yeah, but it's I don't know, like with him I go back and forth on like, is he actually helping the current state of country music, or is he hurting it? And I still don't entirely know the answer. Like I said, I go back and forth, but I think just with the lack of substance in his lyrics, I think he probably still leans more towards hindering, because he's not pushing anything towards changing. But I mean, how many fucking songs can you write about beer?
Yeah.
That being said, he has the capacity to write other, he's got some songs out there that are very well written.
Like She Got the Best of Me and Refrigerator Door come to mind. Like they're better songs than what he normally puts out. And I wish he would kind of lean Dear Today.
One off of his most recent Dear Today. That's a good tune.
Yeah, that is
I like that one.
But I agree. Like I can agree that that he does kind of teeter on that. I guess my whole argument. I actually did an entire episode on this. The one episode I did by myself before I realized it was too hard to talk for 30 minutes. But the thing with Luke Combs, like I have some criticisms of him for sure, and I think that's fair to weigh. But I do say that if he's the biggest artist in the mainstream genre, which is still the majority of people that consume country music, unfortunately, is mainstream. But if he's the best artist, I consider that a net positive. for country music. Versus,
I agree. I agree with that.
Versus like Luke Bryan and Florida Georgia Line and Sam Hunt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah. Like I'm kind of on the hill that like I'm kind of on the hill that like if I'm gonna start worrying about Luke, if I'm really gonna start criticizing Luke Combs quite a bit, it'll be after everybody else has made that shift towards that real country kind of sound.
Yeah.
Like now it's like, okay, do your thing, like sing your beer songs, whatever. You sound country at least. I'm not going to be offended when I walk into a bar or a grocery store and Luke Combs is playing, or like whatever. That long neck ice cold beer never broke my heart or whatever. That's great. But I'm not going to be mad when I walk in and I hear that, but I am going to be mad if I walk in and hear some, you know what I'm talking about, that pop
baby, you a song bullshit, you make me wanna roll
yeah, like oh God, it's not even that one's palatable sometimes compared to some of the shit that you hear on the radio these days.
What was my gosh, I heard one the other day. I think Grady posted something about, no, it wasn't Grady, but the song starts out with like, girl, I know what beer you want because you told me Chris and I bought it. I was like, what the fuck?
Is like, that song is completely ridiculous. I'm ashamed to claim him from North Carolina.
Oh no. Who was it? Who sings that one?
I don't even know who that is.
Chris Lane? That's not it.
He's a hip hop watch out. He went on some type of like singing competition. He wanted to be like a hip hop pop artist. And so what do these guys do when they flame out for that? They put on the skinny jeans, get a trendy haircut, and start singing about tailgates and tan lines.
Yeah. Dude, that's the worst part. They all got the tall hair.
They're the same person. Tall They're all the same person.
I know. It's like
or the mullet. The Morgan Wallen's going to turn it into the mullet thing.
It's funny you bring it up. Like
mullet before
Morgan Wallen. Two artists we've talked about so far that I just can't explain why I like and don't like them. Sturgill Simpson and Morgan Wallen. Sturgill Simpson, I objectively can say he's super, super talented, and I recognize his talent, but for some reason I can't get into his music.
Really?
No,
I just can't. Like his first album was fantastic. And like there are songs that I really listen to that make the playlist for me from Sturgill, but I just can't get into Sturgill, and I don't understand it. It makes no sense. And then on the flip side,
I don't know if we want to let Andy jump in at all. He's been awful quiet, but
Sturgill lost me about halfway through on his albums. I was about the same way. I lasted longer on Sturgill than you did, but to me, it got a little too psychedelic for me.
Yeah.
See, that's what I like about it.
Got lost.
I kind of like the psychedelic kind of thing. I mean, I honestly, dude, like metamodern sounds and country music is maybe like it's in my top 3 favorite albums of all time. That's not a joke. Like it might be my favorite. It might be my favorite. It's that's tough to say, but it's up there.
Yeah.
That's a serious contender.
I get it. I totally get it. And I want to like stuff. I really do. I just, for some reason, can't into the music.
I think if someone's going to get turned off by Sturgill, I mean, there's obviously been a lot of talk since Sound and Fury.
Sound and Fury.
I mean, I wouldn't even know if I called that psychedelic. I don't know what the hell you call it.
No, that's just.
But you certainly don't call it a country album. And I think, I don't know, as a country fan or if you're like, I'm just turned off by it, I don't want really, like, that's where you're drawing the line.
Yeah.
I think just ignore it, maybe. Like, it's not bad. I don't think it's bad music, but it's certainly not country. And if you're a country fan, it's certainly, I totally understand you being like, what the fuck is this? Like, like, I get that. But, like, my advice would be to ignore it. I'm someone who, for Jason Isbell, it took me, I don't know, probably 6 months of off and on trying him to actually get it. And eventually it clicked. Something happened in my life, like an event happened or something where I related to the song. And I was like, this guy is, like, you start realizing how good of a songwriter he is and how good of a musician he is. And I think Sturgill's pretty similar to the same way, where it's like, if you're like one who's like, I just don't get it yet, maybe give it time.
Yeah.
But I think, but if you're someone who's like just put off by Sound and Fury, ignore it. Forget that album ever happened.
I would think, and I'm not I don't doubt you guys have done so already, but for somebody that can't get into Sturgill, for me, you gotta even go through some of the shit that kind of maybe put you off. Like, I don't know if, what is that? Sailor's Guide to Earth was like the one that kind of started to put you off, but it's a little like, it's got some different, themes and sounds to it. But that one, like, if you listen to that album from front to back, you get like a whole new appreciation for that album in particular. And I think Sturgill, and like, you maybe like understand Sturgill a little more after you like listen to that front to back, and kind of like, especially if it resonates with you. It may not. You might listen to it and still be like, this is garbage, but
maybe.
To give it a chance in that sense. That always works for me. Like, if I don't understand an artist, or I'm like, I don't get why people like this guy, I just like, okay, well, let's listen to the whole thing in order, not on shuffle or whatever. Like, jumping around from album
the way
an
album
like,
is supposed to be listened to.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, listen to it like a record. Exactly. So I don't know. That always seems to work for me. But
one of the things that gets me with Sturgill is it goes with other people too. Is that I get a bias with it. Is where the first 2 albums with Sturgill is what I really like. And then at times it's like, well, this isn't what I really liked about Sturgill. And then you have a bias to it. And it just makes it's not that I think it's bad, but it's like,
it's just like disappointing stuff better. Right?
Yep. Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I think
you're not mad. You're
just
a
predetermined bias.
Yeah. I think it's an expectations game. Because like, I know that, like, for instance, like you brought up Isbell. I love Jason Isbell. I'm a big proponent of Isbell. And, but Andy just can't get into it. And it's like, I said the same thing. Like that you said, Mike, was like, you got to kind of dive into it.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest thing with Isbell is that I can't understand his voice, where I can't make out what he's saying. Springsteen's the same way.
Really?
Both of them have such a hard time. Like, it's probably just me, but I can't make out what they're saying very well. And at that point, if you're a great songwriter and I can't make out what you're saying, it's kind of defeating the purpose for me, where it's clearly the guy's great, but just ain't for me, I guess.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever heard that for Sturgill. I've definitely heard, I don't think I've ever heard that for Isbell. I've definitely heard that for Sturgill.
Yeah.
With not being able to understand. But I don't know. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. For me, I try to like learn a lot of Isbell songs on the guitar. And then when you're learning those songs, you have any song you learn on an instrument and you're learning the lyrics, you're going to have like a much deeper connection to those because they're trying to memorize them. And then it connects, and then you start to realize, you think a lot deeper about it on those. So I think that might have been a turning point for Isbell too, but I don't know, maybe you'll come around. I'm not going to ever be like, hound somebody over not getting Isbell, because I was the same way. I didn't for a long time understand what he was about.
One thing I did want to get y'all's take on.
Yes.
Go ahead, Garrett.
No, you got.
No, I was going to ask you a question. You
go for it. Yeah,
I was going to shift gears and no. I don't want to throw you off. Go do your thing. I got it written down anyway.
Okay, cool. One thing
it's your podcast, not mine.
I did want to get y'all's take on this, because like Andy and I explicitly, have said from the beginning that we're not strictly just a country music kind of thing. We're more roots music in general, like is what our aim is. Because a lot of the bands we listen to, and in particular more so than Andy, is like I'm really into like that kind of alt country kind of thing, which Raleigh used to be major for alt country in the 90s. And then also like the kind of more rock leaning stuff you get out of Texas. I wanted to know y'all's take on there seems to be around with these artists in Texas that are around like our age, this groundswell of more rock leaning artists. Like, I mean, you got obviously the big ones, Co Wetzel. You've got Austin Upchurch, like Cody Webb, Geo and the Guns. Yeah. I mean, Reed Southall. Yeah. So like, what is y'all's take on that? Like, I guess from the prism of your, I guess, stated thing of like, with country music, how do you feel about that within the Texas scene?
It's tough to like, that's a tough question, because like, as somebody who's not from Texas, I don't think you have like I think if you're from Texas, you kind of have like a that's not even the way I want to put that. Like, I feel like if you're not from Texas, you don't totally like understand it maybe, or like you don't have the same appreciation for it, I guess. Cause like Texas is so into like promoting their own, and even if it's not totally country sounding, it still sometimes gets called Texas country just because that's kind of what it is. And maybe it's just because it comes from a good place of like trying to get them more well known just by calling them country sometimes, I guess. I don't know, I don't know, I'm just kind of rambling here, but like for me, like I like Co Wetzel's music. He's not always, he's not going to. It's a little heavier, but it's
the wheel when it comes to songwriting. But
that's no,
like who is sober enough to take me to Taco Bell? Like,
who hasn't?
But I still like it, man. I still like it. I think Co Wetzel, and I almost more sometimes in the music. I just love that those guys are fucking like doing their thing and not really worried about whether somebody is going to call him country or if somebody's going to call him rock. Like Co Wetzel says it himself. He's like, I haven't made a country record yet. He said himself, like down the line, that's something he's into. And I don't know if you guys, how wise you are on Co Wetzel, but if you go back to some of his music that he put out, Co Wetzel and the Convicts.
And
I think the album was called Out on Parole. That one, that's pretty fucking country sounded to me, like way more country sounding than Harold Saw High.
Noise complaint on,
your noise complaint, exactly. So
noise complaint,
and I kind of like it. Like I think there's a place for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think there's a place for it. I don't know if I want to sit there and call it country totally, but at the same time, I think it's good music, and I think that's something that shifted my like view on basically even country music as a whole. Like you talk about roots music, you talk all this shit like roots music, Americana, red dirt, folk music. Is it Texas bluegrass? Country? Is it fucking bluegrass? Is it whatever? You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I've kind of shifted from being like, oh, that's country or that's not, to now like, is it good music or is it bad music? Exactly. Right? I don't know. I don't know if that answers your question, but that was kind of my feelings on it. Because like I can jam to some Co Wetzel or like Reed Southall, and then go listen to Town Mountain in the next breath. You know what I mean?
And I will tell you, probably the most fun concert I've ever been to was a Co Wetzel concert. It was
it looks like fun. Hell yeah.
I've only been to one. It was a pretty good time. It was on like a Wednesday night. And nobody there, you wouldn't have known it was a Wednesday night if you were at the place.
Right.
You would have thought it was the Friday night of a 4-day weekend or something,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But
Andy, I don't know. I won't weigh in too much on it. Garrett covered a lot. So
I got you. Andy, you were about to say something about Co.
Oh yeah. I was going to say too, that his EP that he put out too before Out on Parole was just as country as Out on Parole was as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, he's good. I think he knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like, I think he could go make another Out on Parole like tomorrow if he really wanted to, but I think he's just like having fun being a rock star right now. So
he said when he turns,
let him do his thing. Yeah.
But
I like it. I like it.
I'm a fan. But
what I was gonna ask you is like, because you asked me and Mike like what our favorite artists were or whatever, and Mike kind of gave you an answer. I didn't really get in there, but like I want to know like what your guys's, what are your even like a top 5, just like it doesn't even have to be totally like people that maybe influenced you to like this type of music or get into doing this, but give me a couple artists that kind of inspired you guys to first off like do this, and then like what got you into country music, I guess.
That's actually an easy question for me. Like first, I will say what got me into country music from the beginning was 2003's Dierks Bentley self-titled record. I put that record up as still holding up and being a good album. Like that album, like I got it. I think I was like 9 years old when it came out. And that's kind of what really got me. Like I'd always grown up listening to George Strait and Alan Jackson, Travis Tritt, all these guys, right?
As we all did.
Yeah. But it's like, that was the first album that I really listened to. So I have to kind of throw it to that one with what sparked my interest in music. But when it comes to this particular like style of music and this podcast, me and Andy always like to say, we can pinpoint the exact moment. We can pinpoint the exact moment of our musical awakening. And that was a Lincoln Theater American Aquarium, Turnpike Troubadours, and John Moreland show in 2015.
Damn.
We were 20 years old.
Hey,
we had just heard of American Aquarium and had just like walked in let's check these guys out. I've heard a couple of their songs. It's pretty good. And we discovered Turnpike that night. We discovered American Aquarium, and that just completely flipped it for me.
Is that the concert where John Moreland has a video out where it's like, you don't care enough for me to cry, I think it is. And he's up there and like before the song starts, he like drops his pick and he's like, I'm losing all of Evan Felker's picks up there. I wonder if that's the same show.
It might be.
Because in the back behind him is an American Aquarium drum. And I was like, why are you losing Evan Felker's picks if it's an American Aquarium drum? But that would make sense. Or at least it was probably the same tour. Same year.
Same tour.
Yeah, it was definitely, I think it was that concert actually, just because the three of them weren't necessarily on tour together. I'm sure.
Yeah, it was a release party. It was an album release party.
Yeah, it was technically the first year of road trip to Raleigh. And that was like how we discovered it. We went to night 2 of the initial road trip to Raleigh before it was branded as that. And so it was
the Wolves album release party back then.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's crazy because Turnpike was my intro to this whole world too. You know, my first Turnpike show had Charlie Crockett open.
Oh yeah,
and that distinct night changed everything for me with this music world. So it's funny that a Turnpike concert did the same for you.
And that was like really like our introduction to Turnpike too. Like and since then, like me, Andy, and my brother and his wife flew out to Oklahoma for New Year's Eve to go to Kane's Ballroom to see Turnpike and American Aquarium on New Year's Eve. And
holy fuck.
That was a sick show. Like Kane's Ballroom is a fantastic venue. It's one of my favorite.
New Year's Eve.
I've been there a couple times. Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve. I like what you said there about like kind of like how you described Dirk Bentley for you, like because I've talked about that on our show before. Like, you know, we all grew up. You know, if you were, you know, in our age range of, I mean, I'm 24, you guys are 26. If you were born, you know, in the 90s or even like the late 80s kind of thing, like you grew up listening to George Strait and Alan Jackson and all that, like everybody you just said, you know. And I think that's like why we see like this whole like 90s country kind of like it's almost becoming like a cliche or like this little like everybody's trying to be 90s country right now or like sound like, at least in the mainstream, I mean, like as a broader like the kind of a deeper kind of perspective, I guess. Like it seems like everybody's trying to like pick off of that vibe of like 90s country right now. So we all grew up listening to that, but there's always that one artist or a couple different artists, or maybe somebody in your family like introduced you to some other music that wasn't just that, you know, 90s radio country. Like, and I'm not saying that shit's bad at all. Yeah, I love that music, but I'm just saying like we all, you know, that was always there, but there's always that one artist that you were like really connected with and you're like, that's one that I discovered, you know what I mean? Rather than, like you're listening to Alan Jackson with your mom and dad a lot. But, you know, for me, it was Core Blund. And to a lesser extent, because my grandpa is a huge, like him and my grandma were always playing music when we'd be at their place, and like big, like Johnny Cash fans. Like I can remember sitting there watching TV the day at my grandma and grandpa's place the day that Johnny Cash passed away. So like Johnny Cash and Core Blund, like I always thought Johnny Cash was like the coolest shit ever. Yeah. Like I was always like I was like 10 years old, like Johnny Cash is my favorite. And like Hank Sr., like my grandpa kind of got me into like this all like super old country music that I was just like, oh, that's the cool, like that is, it's cool. And I thought it was cool because it's different, which is like funny to like think about now. Oh, I know. Because what I think is great and what I think is cool is different than everybody else. Oh, I know. Same here. But damn, and I don't know if you guys are wise on Core Blund, but he's my shit. This is why Garrett and Core Blund. Yeah, well, he's from Alberta, and he's fucking fantastic. I'll have you know, man, you got to rep the home team. That's why I'm such a big American Aquarium fan. I'm not even just being a homer, man. Like I think Core Blund is underappreciated and misunderstood by a lot of people. Yeah. Oh, I think everybody. everybody I talk to, they're like, oh, Corbin, like, yeah, he's okay. I'm like, no, you don't understand. He's fucking amazing. But I don't know. People don't get it.
Who are some Canadian country artists that you think we should check out? Because I'm not as familiar in that scene.
Have you heard of Coulter Wall?
Yeah. I do know Coulter Wall.
No.
How about
obviously you've heard of Coulter.
Blake Berglund.
Coulter Wall.
One of our buddies, Blake Berglund.
Dude, I always forget. Yeah, Blake Berglund's fantastic.
He's from Regina.
I think, and his wife, Belle Plain, she's great too. There's
the Dead South.
Like, Coulter, Blake, the Dead South. I don't mind the Dead South at all.
I like
now you're putting me on the spot. There's been a few. I've been trying to actually get into more like Canadian.
Rush.
There's a Rush. Yeah, Rush. No, not Rush. Let me think about that for a minute. There's a fella from Manitoba I really like. His name's Joe Wilson. He's pretty good. He's pretty he's good waltzes like old. He's kind of like Coulter-ish kind of music. Like he's kind of old time country, but it's country gold. Joe Wilson's really good. I would definitely check him out. Trying to think, man. Yeah, you guys put me on the spot here. It's tough. I could Zachary Lucky. He's good. I like him a lot. Yeah,
he's a good.
Yeah, he's solid. Yeah. I don't know. I'm blanking right now. If I think of one, I'll spit it out there. A guy named Marcus Sommer. He's from down south here in Alberta. He's good. He does some good, he's super Western music. But he's really good. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's tough. I'm trying to think. There's a guy I was just listening to the other day. He's kind of singer-songwriter, kind of rootsy stuff that's really, really good, actually. Or what I've heard so far has been really good. His name's Dennis Bowman.
Yeah,
he's from British Columbia, I think. Yeah, he's solid too.
I know that Andy's
there's a few. What's that?
I said I think Andy, you're a big Coulter Wall fan, aren't you?
I really liked his first EP a lot.
Yeah,
that whole
all
EP
good.
To me was just fantastic.
Yeah.
That EP, that first one he put out, it covered so many different types of sounds in it too, and I thought that one was just fantastic.
I think that's something.
Imaginary Appalachia.
Yep, that's it. Imaginary Appalachia.
Yeah.
I always forget the names of everything.
Yeah.
As soon as you start recording me, I can't remember the name of anything.
Yeah, exactly. That's me. I'm like, I'm blanking here, guys. Fuck. I don't know. Canadian people. Who do I know? But Coulter was living in Kentucky at the time when he recorded that. I'm pretty sure.
Because that the one he had the?
That's Sleeping on the Blacktop and
Johnny Boy's Bones.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. I always wonder how long he's going to get away with the intro to that one. Yeah. Oh, I wish I was. Yeah.
Probably
Canadian singing that to start a song is always funny.
All right. So I guess let's kind of transition to the lightning round, as I like to call it, because
cool.
we kind of, it'll be partially, some of it be somewhat music related, some of it not completely at all. But I guess first thing, just to kind of ease into it with the music aspect, what's your favorite venue you've seen a show at?
You go ahead, Mike.
Yeah. I don't know. This one's different for me because you have indoor and outdoor kind of aesthetics.
Mm-hmm.
The amphitheater that I saw Turnpike at the first time in Des Moines was my favorite outdoor venue I've been to, just because it's kind of buried into a hillside along the Des Moines River, and that was pretty cool. But indoor, I guess shit. You know what? I'm just gonna throw that out of the way because John T. Floors in Helotes.
Yeah.
It's outdoor too, so I guess that one wins. John T. Floors in Helotes was just outside of San Antonio. That was cool. You got a bunch of Texans out there all appreciating Texas music. That's hard to beat. So yeah, I guess that one.
What about you, Garrett?
Man, it's tough because especially in this, I haven't been to live music like you guys have been to. Like things, these artists don't travel up to Canada, and when I'm in the States, it's tough to make that work. So I'm going to say, and honestly, like the artist in the show can change your opinion on such a question as well. But right now I'm going to say for something for you Americans, the Brooklyn Bowl in Las Vegas, I saw Parker McCollum open up for Robert Earl Keen, who's like one of my favorites. It's my dad's favorite artist. Yeah. That was really cool experience to get to see Robert Earl Keen with him while we were in Vegas for the NFR. That was a lot of fun. It was a badass venue too, like not just because of the show, but I was amazed at how many people left after Parker McCollum and didn't stick around for Robert Earl Keen.
Yeah.
I was kind of upset. Yeah, all the college kids. Yeah. I guess they had better places to be, but anyway. Yeah, probably the Brooklyn Bowl, or there's one up here in Edmonton where I saw Coulter for the first time. Yeah. Which was cool because there's 2 levels to it. And so I was up on the balcony right on the rail with 2 of my buddies and my girlfriend. And I was kind of like right up over top almost of the stage. So yeah, it was basically like being in the front row, but you were up higher. It was called Union Hall up here in Alberta. Nobody will know what that fucking means. But anyway, that was a cool venue too. But I guess those are my answers.
I hear that. All right. So college or NFL? I guess that's more for Mike.
Yeah, that's a Mike question. I got to pick the NFL because I don't know what the fuck going on with all the college football.
And are you a Hawkeye fan?
I'm a Hawkeye fan. Yeah, okay. I did sports at Iowa, so I'm a big Iowa fan. I grew up here, and college the college football environment is second to none on the NFL. And, I mean, that you can't beat it. It's not even close.
You guys are finally going to get to play some football here in a few weeks.
Coming up 3 weeks from Saturday.
Yeah. I know you're excited about that because I was
got the day circled on the calendar.
College football is almost like a religion in the Southeast, and when there was a prospect of us not playing, people were like getting pissed off, myself included.
Upset, perhaps.
Yeah. That for up until very very recently for me, we were thinking it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So 3 weeks, just 3.5 weeks, I guess.
All right, so I guess. This is going to probably seem very stereotypical, but Garrett, are you an NHL fan?
Yeah, I'm an NHL. I grew up playing hockey. I started playing hockey when I was 4 years old. So growing up hockey, and I'm from a town where we had 6 brothers actually play in the NHL back in the day. They're called the Sutter brothers. I don't know if you guys are big hockey fans, but anyway, basically in my town, hockey's kind of like a fucking religion in my town. Like it's the thing. Like if you don't play hockey, you're a weirdo.
Yeah.
But because I'm from a town of about 1,000 people, so it's pretty small. Like hockey is the thing to do. So I grew up playing hockey, but actually played some college basketball in Canada.
Oh, nice.
So I'm more of a basketball fan, I will say. Yeah. I'm an NBA fan. I follow the NBA probably closer than anything else.
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty big. Who's my team?
Yeah.
The Clippers, unfortunately.
Okay.
The Clippers and the Spurs were kind of my 2 teams, I suppose. And I have to be an obligatory Raptors fan. When the time comes.
The one Canadian
just the one Canadian team. You got to kind of cheer for the Raptors a little bit too. So. Yeah, but my favorite player was Tim Duncan, so the Spurs. But like, I was also like a massive Blake Griffin and that kind of Chris Paul, Blake Griffin era Clippers fan. So
those teams were good. They just could never get over the hump.
Yeah, injuries and couldn't hit a 3 against the Rockets. And the Rockets went like
they go like 0 for 27 or something. Like that?
Yeah, it was fucking ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, I don't like to talk about it.
I'm going to insert my plugs for the
Josh Smith fucked us up. I don't know if you guys know what's going on.
Okay. So I'm a Carolina Hurricanes fan, and I don't really have an NBA team. I watch more hockey than I do the NBA, actually. Yeah. Weirdly enough, being in a southeastern coastal state, I watch hockey. But that's been relatively recent though. I've only been watching hockey here and there for about like 3 years. Like it's not like I'm a dot in the wool hockey guy either. It was just like when it was a cheap thing to go to when the Canes sucked, and then when they got good for the last 2 seasons, it's just been fun. So
well, I mean, they made the Cup Finals in 2006 against Edmonton actually. So the Canes haven't been bad. They've been okay once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
It's honestly, as a Canadian though, and somebody who like hockey's like ingrained in everything you fucking do, and go and, you go see, it's everywhere you look. Like, it's cool to see how much it's grown in the last 5-10 years down in the States, and see that there's actually, like, I went to a game, me and my buddies went to Nashville 2 falls ago, and we went to a Predators game.
Yeah.
And it was like they're fucking wild about hockey there. It was cool to see. It was cool to see, for sure.
Okay. So what is your late night go-to fast food chain that you like to hit? Like we talked about Cold Wetzel. Is anyone sober enough to take me to Taco Bell?
Damn.
What is it for the Hippies and Cowboys guys?
I like McDonald's. I'm not gonna lie. I'll go get a McDouble or something, or a Big Mac or some nuggets. It's like, you're talking like, okay, yeah, it's 3 a.m. We've been drinking and shits, and it's time to that. Or like, I like ordering pizza. I'm a big pizza guy. In college, like, that was a thing. You just order a shitload of pizza. Yeah. Pass out about an hour after you eat.
What about you?
Sorry, I was kicking my lights on accident. Let's see. McDonald's is, if I'm being honest.
I like McDonald's. I'm not gonna lie.
That's a good one. And you got like Uber Eats now or whatever, so you can just get it delivered.
Oh yeah.
But I guess in Iowa City, there's 2 pizza places. One's called Thalbo's and one's Gumby's.
Mm-hmm.
And those here, they're terrible. I mean, they're not good, but if it's at bar close, then they are. Or Poncheros. We got Poncheros. If anybody knows what that is, it's like a Chipotle.
I've heard of it,
but it's better. It's better. It started in Iowa City, so we're biased. But great junk food and hungover food. It doubles a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've heard of that on the You Betcha videos where I heard of Poncheros at.
Oh yeah, it's a real Midwest thing, and I think that guy's from around here.
I think
we ran into him at a bar a couple years ago. So yeah, he's around here somewhere.
What about you, Andy? What's your go-to food? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
Yeah,
it's probably Cookout.
Cookout, yeah. So in North Carolina, there's this chain that it started in Greensboro, and it's starting to matriculate throughout the Southeast now. But if you're ever down this way, definitely recommend going there. Up until the last few years, they never had indoor seating. It was a double drive-through place, and that's the late night go-to spot in North Carolina is Cookout. Like it's for the amount of food you're getting, it's like $6. It's ridiculous. We lived off of it in college. But definitely
sounds like my kind of thing.
Oh yeah, they're open till like 5 a.m.
Sounds like my kind of thing.
They know who the audience is.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of You Betcha, I figured I had to be on here representing Iowa. I got my corn cob Busch Light aluminum can.
Oh yeah, look at
stock and everything.
That's a perfect segue, because the next question before we wrap things up was, what is your beer of choice? Because our name is Country and Cold Cans, and we used to drink beer while we were young, but then it just got too difficult to like.
Well, he's podcasting and driving. You can't be drinking beer.
Exactly.
You're not supposed to be.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be.
Yeah, not supposed to be. I mean, technically you can, but
you can do a lot of things. You probably shouldn't.
You can do a lot of things.
Yeah, it's not the 80s anymore. It's frowned upon after 1985.
Well, after that. I'll answer with Busch Light. I'll answer with Busch Light. Easy answer. Boom. Busch Light.
We knew that. Bud Light probably. Bud Light. I drink a lot of Bud Light. Yeah. I'm pretty open to trying new things. So I've been drinking Michelob. Those are okay. I don't mind that at all. Yeah, but I'm not too terribly picky. Like when it comes to beer, like I'll drink whatever. Beer of choice is Coors Banquet.
Yes, that's my beer of choice.
Let me change my answer. It's Coors Banquet. But about 6 months ago,
gotta be in the studies.
I don't really care where it is. It's in a can or a bottle, but Coors Banquet up until like 6, maybe 8 months ago, maybe at the New Year kind of thing. Like up here, you can't get Coors Banquet anymore.
Right.
For a long time, like you could not buy Coors Banquet up here. And then like for the last like 3 or 4 years, you could just buy Coors Banquet all of a sudden. And then now they fucking cut it off again. So I don't know. I need to start writing emails like one a day or something like that, because I'm pissed off. But so here's the thing. They still sell you like this Coors like heavy. So it's like Coors Original.
Right.
And it's still like the Buckskins. It's still in the same color can. So they try to trick you into fucking buying it, but it's not the same. You can't fucking fool me, Coors Canada. It's not the fucking same. It's Coors Original. It's not Coors Banquet. It's not the same thing. It tastes different. I swear to God. So anyway, there's my rant.
Andy and I drank a lot of Busch Light and Natty Light in college.
Pissed me off.
That was the craziest thing when I went. When I first went to Iowa, because we drank so much Busch Light in college, but no bars had it. Nobody had it but the grocery store.
There was like
one
first
time I was in Iowa,
and that was it.
And I looked around, and everybody in the place was drinking Busch Light, and I'm like, "What kind of heaven have I stumbled into?"
Oh yeah, dude. Here's a funny Busch Light story. So Iowa, when Iowa went to the Rose Bowl, my senior year of college. Let's not talk about how that game went for anybody who remembers. Did not go well. But we went to they threw like an Iowa tailgate like the day before the game, which was New Year's Day. And it was at like the USS Iowa on the bay. And they had like beer vendors there. And they told them, stock up on Busch Light. And we ran these guys out of Busch Light twice. Like they brought in, like they're out, and then they brought in more kegs of Busch Light, and then they ran out of that. They're like, who the fuck are these islands? Like who drinks this much Busch Light? We do.
What's your guys' beer of choice?
Andy, you can kick that off if you want.
Oh yeah, mine of choice would be a Busch Light and a keg.
Oh yeah,
and
there
a
you
keg?
go.
Really?
Yeah, some of the crispest beer we've ever had was it was so cold and crisp at a party in college one time. It was Busch Light keg beer.
There you go.
Really?
Out of a trash
I don't
can
much like draft beer.
Oh, I love draft beer. I hate canned beer.
I'm not a huge draft beer guy.
Really?
Out of a bottle, like preferably out of a bottle.
Yeah,
whatever.
Bottles
good.
Bottles good.
But I mean, I don't hate draft beer, but it's just like a keg. To me, draft beer is different than like a keg at a party. You know what I mean? Because it's not totally fucking cold. It's just like just like, man, I put it in the fridge for like 10 minutes. That's how cold it is.
Oh yeah. So I would say for me, it's definitely like it used to be Natural Light in college. Like I used to drink a ton of Financial Light. And
yeah, there you go.
But I hate to even admit this out loud, but I'm going to. As I've gotten older and as I've graduated from college, I've become a bit bougie in my beer tastes. And I drink North Carolina, especially in the Triangle, but North Carolina in particular has a lot of craft breweries throughout the state. And I've really gotten into like craft beer. And I hate to admit that because my college self would have punched me in the face for saying that. But I do. I like a good IPA.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's the only thing. I don't think I'm mature enough yet for an IPA. I think that's all it is. It's nothing against IPAs. I'm just personally not mature enough to appreciate the IPA.
Not all of them are good.
Guys,
some of them suck.
Does it ever happen down in the States where like you go to a function or something and they're only like, say they're sponsored by some kind of craft brewery in the area and then all they got is craft beer? Does that happen to you guys?
Not that I'm aware of.
No? Yeah. Oh, like that's a thing like in Alberta. Like if you go to, like I've been to rodeos or things like that before, like some kind of a function and it's sponsored by X brewery.
Yeah.
And that's all you got. You got whatever, the IPA, the fucking usually the honey ale or the red ale or something like that, and then like the lager and like or usually there's like a dark beer, like a Guinness option.
Right.
I always go for the darkest one because that one I can get down. IPAs are disgusting, but just my thing on craft beer. Recently, I've been trying them because I have this liquor store. I'm moving, and so the new place I'm moving to, there's a liquor store like right across the street. I'm moving to the city, and there's a liquor store like literally less than a block away. And they have in the back of their walk-in beer cooler, there's a massive wall of single cans of craft beer, and that right there is how you sell craft beer. Because I don't have to commit to a whole 6-pack. I can just try one, right?
You don't like it, you don't like it.
That's genius, exactly. So I'm like, every time I go in there, I'll buy my regular or whatever I'm in there to get, and then I'm like, it's about 130 different fucking cans of beer on the wall. Let me pick a couple, and
they have something similar at some grocery stores down here, like at the food line near my house. Like you can go in and they have like these collapsible 6-pack thing where you can do like your own, like go and pick which ones you want. So
good idea.
It's kind of cool. Like you don't have to go and commit to just the same beer if you don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's a pain in the ass to buy like a whole 6 or 15 pack or something like that, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, this tastes like dog shit."
Wait,
I don't want to.
Did you say a 15 pack?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
15 packs?
We have Sixers 12 packs in cases here.
What?
We got 18s. We got 18s, 24s.
Well, yeah, 18s too. Yeah.
15.
And then a case is 30.
Right there.
Oh yeah. I have the
15 pack.
Huh, interesting.
Most things, those are bottles, but like most, I mean, here I got some Natty Light right here. Actually, look at that.
Hell yeah, brother.
Natty Light.
15
cans. Look at
Canettes.
that.
What the hell is a canette?
There's French on there. You bet. Brewed in Canada. That's a lie. It probably wasn't, but that's the thing. Yeah, I'm glad that made the podcast too.
I'd never heard of a 15 pack of beer, so that's interesting.
That's funny. I just started finding and drinking Lone Star beer up here. I don't know if you guys drank that before.
They don't fucking have that in Iowa. It's bullshit.
They don't in North Carolina either.
They have it for it's like $1 at every bar in Texas. I guess the cheapest. Yeah. It's cheaper than Busch Light is here.
And it's good. And
they don't have it here.
Yeah, Lone Star beer, National Beer Texas. Watch this when I flip the fucking can over. It's all in French. Like, if a Texan really saw that, I think they'd fucking lose their mind. It's all French. Like, that's the most anti-Texan thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, no. Have you guys ever...
National Beer of Texas in French.
Have y'all ever had Pearl beer in a can?
I've never heard of that.
So it's from a David Allan Coe song, and I'd never seen it ever in my life, being in North Carolina. Well, Andy, me, and my brother were at the Mercury Lounge in Tulsa, and we saw they had Pearl in a can. We were like, hell yeah, we're gonna try this for the first time. No, not shitting you. We drank every single Pearl they had. Like we drank them out of it that night. But it was like it's an easy drinkable light beer. It's nothing special, but it's just pretty cool. Like, I'd never seen it before.
Are those cheap too? Because I feel like they maybe had those in Texas too, like like on the same rack as the Lone Star. Yeah, in Austin.
In Austin, at there's a couple of beer bars on 6th Street that have them.
Yeah, Dirty Six
for like $1 or $2 or something ridiculous.
Okay, I feel like I probably did have them.
Yeah,
have them there. And the Lone Stars, they got like little riddles on the cap or something.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous how cheap beer and smokes and all that fun stuff is down in the States compared to up here. It's amazing.
Well,
we were just talking about this with one of our other guests. It's ridiculous. Okay, all right. Do you guys chew?
No, we used to do a lot of dip, but not really anymore.
Guess how much a can of chew costs up here?
I'm gonna take a guess so around here, I'm going to add a little bit. I'm going to say it's probably $7 or $8.
That's how much it is in Iowa.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it's like upwards of $40 Canadian.
What the fuck?
Canadian. That's like 28 or 26.
So 40 is $29.89 American dollars.
Jeez, that'll make me not want to do it real quick.
Yeah. I mean, I don't chew a lot, but. Go ahead.
That's what it's cost in New England here, like up in the Northeast. Yeah. It's like $20 to $25 a can.
I guess it's just to get it up there, eh? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I don't know how it is in Canada, like with the way
our taxes are pretty fucked, though.
Yeah, so like here, it's like it's a state's issue. So it's like certain have what I think is called an excise tax or whatever. So some states are way more expensive for the sin taxes with alcohol and tobacco than they are in other states. Like North Carolina, it's not that expensive. Like, you can probably get a can for less than $4.
Yeah. That's kind of like up here. Yeah, it varies from province to province, but I mean, it's at least here in Alberta, that's how much it costs for chew. And like all of our cigarette packages, like all the packaging has to be generic. It's all like brown with like regular font. And like, it's like, you can't have like, we were just talking about this with the guy from 49 Winchester. You can't have a pack of American Spirits has like the logo and all the shit on it. Like, we can't have that. Like, it's all like, it's brown packaging with like Times New Roman font, and then there's usually a picture of like a dirty old fucked up lung or something, like something gross on it to like make you not want to smoke. That's what is on the cigarette packs.
I'd be interested to see if that's actually had an effect on stopping people from doing it.
Dude, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna when I come down there in a little bit to see Mike and shit. I'm gonna bring a couple packs of smokes just for fun. Just to, I'm gonna leave the pack. You can keep the package and do whatever you want with it.
I'll
have it in your house.
That's what'll happen.
Well, we will smoke the cigarettes, yes, but you can keep the package and then you can show it to people as a conversation piece.
Well, damn, that's it. It's funny how things are so different in each.
It's crazy, man.
That stuff, but
no shit.
Well, I guess that probably wraps up this episode.
Sounds good.
I appreciate you guys taking the time, and if you guys want to kind of like plug your podcast and everything, tell us where everybody can find you.
You can find it obviously on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, of course. We're on Stitcher, Google Podcasts, like pretty much wherever you can get a podcast. You'll be able to find us. iHeartRadio, that's another one. But yeah, search us up. Enjoy the show. Find somebody you've heard of or somebody you want to find out more about and listen to an episode. Check it out. You can give us a follow on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. And I think that's pretty much it. I'm working on a website, so there will be a website soon, but otherwise, that's pretty much where we're at this point. Come yell at us on social media or whatever you want to do.
That's
ready.
always fun.
Hell yeah, brother. Well, again,
we like it.
Sitting here with Mike and Garrett from the Hippies and Cowboys podcast. I appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys.
We'll do this. We'll do this again.
Oh yeah, man. I'd love to have you guys on again. So I enjoyed it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, us too, man.
All right. See you next time.
Yeah.